For today's class, you're going to need all the usual stuff. We're going to start down in child's pose. I recommend orienting towards the screen so that you can see what's going on without having to turn your head sideways and tweak your neck. I'm going to turn sideways and tweak my neck to teach you and let you see that my big toes are together, my knees are apart, and I'm backing my hips up over my heels. Now, if the floor is quite hard, you might need some padding underneath your knees. I also recommend having your yoga blocks handy or some other stack of stuff to put underneath your third eye, because ideally your hips are lower than your head and your hips are settling down over your heels. So elevating, supporting your head on stacked fists or on the edges of blocks will help back your hips up onto your heels. You'll see the shape of my back is this rounded dome shape for child's pose. Turn your attention inward, find your breath, and feel that breath in the back body. So often when we breathe deeply, we think of breathing into the front of our chests. But for today, I'd like you to access the back of your lungs, the lungs in your back body. And notice that you might discover some achy, sore back muscles simply by breathing into them. Feel the muscles in your back body broaden, widen, and spread out. Begin to create space between those back rib bones. Your shoulder blades slide apart from one another. You might need to widen your elbows out. And then bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Press into your hands and back up, around your back, roll on up, sitting back over your heels. And then from here, we're going to take the right leg forward. So taking your right leg forward, and again, I'm only turned sideways so that you can see that I'm using up this whole yoga mat. Front leg forward, back leg backward, full length, full stride here, lunging. Now, you'll soon quickly discover that that back knee can be quite bony on the floor, and you might want to pop a pillow underneath that back knee if you haven't already. I also like you to see that I'm using blocks. Extend the length of my arms. Hips driving forward. Basic beginner's lunge. Front toe sticking out further than any other point on your body. And breathing. Continue to try breathing into those back ribs. And with your arms directly beneath your shoulders, blocks underneath your hands, you can even push into your hands a little bit around your back. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin. Pushing into your hands, back up, rock back on the front heel. Pulling the front leg a little bit straighter. And bring those blocks back again underneath your shoulders. Arms straight up and down. Chin and tail tucked. Breathing into your back ribs. So the straighter you pull the front leg, the more of a hamstring stretch you'll receive. Now take this front heel, it's not going to go anywhere, but push down, straight down, hard into the floor. Continue to push down, straight down, hard into the floor, but also engage like you're dragging the front heel backward. It's not going to go anywhere, but drag it backward. Chin tucked, tail tucked, breathing into those back ribs. And perhaps you feel that stretch travel down your back a little bit more. You're still getting that hamstring stretch, but working that front leg, pushing the heel down, dragging it backward, you might feel that stretch travel into your back as well as the hamstrings. And then let's stay on the same side. Shift forward once again into that lunge. This time, climb up onto the front knee. Shoulders shrug back, belly pulled in, pushing hands against the knee. I'm pushing the knee forward, driving the knee forward, at the same time pushing the heel down, dragging the heel backward. Cool. And you might feel that in the front of the other leg. Lots of things going on. I'm pushing the knee forward, using my hands, pulling my belly back, driving that front foot down, pulling the front heel backward. Good morning. Basic lunge. If you have the sound off, it doesn't look like I'm doing much at all. But if you're listening and if you're following along and working it, you're starting to feel something really happen. All right. Gonna back on out. Balance. You can use those blocks to help you. I'm gonna come more upright. I'm gonna take this front foot backward like a whole footprint. So now it's directly underneath the knee. I've got a lot of right angles here. You can see on the screen. I've got my hips directly over the standing knee, front knee directly over the front heel, right angles going on. Shoulders up, back, and down. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. For balance, better balance, you might wiggle that front foot out to the side, even turn it out at an angle, if that might help you. Also helps sometimes to curl the back toes under for better balance. That does get bony on the knee though. Now, can you push into that front heel, drag the front heel backward, do a little pelvic thrust, and activate that pelvic thrust. It doesn't look like I'm doing much, but if you work it, you follow along and work it, you're going to feel something happen in the front of that left thigh, front left hip. So front foot is stamping down, front foot is dragging backward, belly pulls in, even driving the front knee forward a little bit without using my hands. And then relax. I'm going to rock back. Now this is a little bit shorter than it was a few moments ago, and I have the back toes curled under still, rocking back. Now it's a bit of a toe stretch. Not so much a hamstring stretch, just a toe stretch here. I sit back over that left foot. Do your best to breathe. And come forward, still on the same side. Now I'm going to push through the back heel. Help me drive my hips forward. Front knee moving forward, hips driving forward, belly pulling backward, front foot stamping down, front heel dragging backward. And if you're feeling really good about that, you let the front knee overbend a bit. You come into a nice deep low lunge, pushing hard through that back heel, dragging the front foot backward, stamping the front foot down, belly pulling in. And release. Let's come to kneeling. Good morning. Starting you off nice and strong. First thing here, untucking the toes, giving those feet a break, sitting back and breathing, easy peasy. This is still my right leg. We're still working the right side. Now you're going to take this right foot. I'm going to shift over to the left a little bit. Take this right foot out in front. Put it down. As you can see here, move this out of the way. My left toes are still pointed. I'm sitting on that left heel. Now, sitting on this left heel doesn't work for you. You can do with this with the left leg fully extended. Notice my right butt cheek is floating. I'm going to fill the gap. Put a little block there and sit on it. You might need to put 2 blocks or 1 block on edge and fill that gap. Your sit bone is on something. It's making contact. You are seated. 1 sit bone on the heel, 1 sit bone on a block. Or if you have that left leg out in front of you, you might just have both sit bones on the floor. Whatever you're doing, make it happen. Now this bent knee, I'm gonna let it fall out to the side. You're on the pinky toe knife edge of this right foot. Bring it in. Shoulders up, back, and down. Letting that right knee fall out to the side. Easy peasy so far. Chest up, lengthening forward, bow forward. Bring your belly, bring your chest out. Good morning. And breathe. Breathing into those back ribs. You're on the pinky toe, knife edge of this right foot. Foot is flexed flat. letting that right knee all open out to the side. Breathing into your back body. You might feel some fun stuff happening in the lower back and the hips, back ribs. This pose starts to evolve over time here. As you settle in, as you sit a little heavier. And come on up. Still on the same side. I'm going to pull those blocks out from beneath my butt. And get the right foot forward again. Actually, I'm going to put that right knee down. Yeah, there we go. Notice my right toes are curled under. Have those blocks handy. I'll use them again in a moment. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Left leg, the one I was just sitting back, I'm going to stretch that straight back. Oh, get some blood flow back into that calf. Pull in your tummy, pull in your front ribs, breathe. I'm pushing hard through that back heel. Feeling that lovely calf stretch. Front ribs, belly pull in, left leg lifts up. Opposite diagonal, right arm extends. Thumbs up, point the fingers. Tiger pose. Right elbow, left knee come together. Exhale. Inhale, extend. And again, exhale, drive elbow and knee together. Inhale, extend. This is your bird dog. Exhale, drive elbow and knee together. Inhale, extend. One more time. Exhale, drive elbow and knee together. If you need to, grab it. Put that foot forward. We're switching sides. Now you got that left foot forward. Basic lunge. Work that right leg back. Settle in. Just start the first basic lunge with the back toes pointed forward. Drive your hips forward. I'm going to spin around real quick so that both my feet are visible at all times for you. Just know that you have your left foot forward. Again, followed my advice, you're looking at the screen, and hopefully you're not too confused here with the right and left thing. Left foot forward. Basic lunge. You remember that whole sequence? I kind of do. I think we'll get it. All right, don't be shy about using those blocks. Right knee on some padding. You're going to rock back on the front heel. Bring those blocks with you. They come underneath your shoulders. You're tucking your tail. You're rounding your back. You're breathing. And you're feeling that left hamstring stretch. Just as before, you're going to take that front heel, push it down, activate like you're dragging it backward. Oh, notice what that does for the pose. Again, if you were just following along without the sound, it would look like I wasn't doing much at all. But if you are listening and if you are following along, activating, pushing that front heel down, dragging the front heel backward, it does have an effect on your back, especially if you're breathing. And then ease on. Shifting forward, transfer hands up onto your lap. Basic lunge. Okay. Same thing, stamping that front foot down, activating like you're dragging the front heel backward as you push your knee forward. Pull your belly backward. Feel that right thigh. Get a bit of a stretch now. Don't be shy. Push that front knee forward hard. Pull that belly backward strong. Front foot stamping down, front foot dragging backward. And ease on up. Rocking back again. Foot flex nice and flat. Front heel pushing down, front heel dragging backward. Nice deep breaths into your back body. Now for balance sake, you can take that front foot, wiggle it a little bit wider out to the side. It does help give yourself some width for balance sake. Because we're going to shift forward. And you might end up taking this front foot backward a footprint or so that you can come into that right angle, what I call proposal pose. All your weight's down on one knee. Theoretically, you could pick the front foot up. You're down on one knee. Right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. When all is right in the world, do your best to balance. Again, taking the front foot a little bit wider, turning it out to the side will help you with that balance. Also helps to curl the back toes under. If you got enough padding underneath the back knee, you can do that. Pushing the knee forward, pulling the belly backward, stamping the front foot down, pulling the front heel backward. Get a nice quadricep stretch. You don't even have to lunge very deep to get there. When you have good balance, you can bring your arms up and overhead and work it without using your hands. Activate, like you're still shoving that knee forward, stamping the front foot down, dragging the front heel backward. Pull that belly in tight. And pull that tummy in as you rock back. Don't be shy about using your blocks for balance. It is a shorter pose than it was a few moments ago. Still have those back toes curled under. You see that there, for that foot stretch to happen. You've had enough of that. We're going to come forward. Untuck those toes. Oh, what a relief that is. Let those hips drive forward. Dragging the front heel backward, driving the front knee forward, pulling your belly back. Nice deep over lunge. If you can still work it, if you want to work it extra hard, those back toes are curled under and you're pushing hard through that back heel. My toes just needed a break there. Anjaneyasana. Little overbend in the knee here. Really pull your belly back. And bail out. Back toes untuck. You're pointing backward, sitting back over the heel, bowing forward. Not so much a hamstring stretch now. It becomes more of a back thing, especially if you're breathing. Now let's bail out. Come on up. Let's come to a simple kneeling. I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. You might still have your pillow. And sit back for just a moment. Find your blocks. They help with balance. You're going to shift your weight over onto that right knee so you can take that left foot and set it down on the ground. You've been here before. Remember this floating butt cheek thing? Leveling off your hips. Using one, maybe two blocks, or maybe a block on edge, whatever height you need, so that you are sitting on heel and sit bone. Both sit bones making contact with something. Sit bone touching block, sit bone touching heel. Simple kneeling. Doesn't feel like much at all, especially if you don't have a knee problem, no big deal. If you do have a knee problem, that right leg can go straight out in front of you. Let the left knee fall open. Still no big deal. Pinky toe, blade edge of the foot in near your groin somewhere. Shoulders back, chest lifted. Now is where it gets interesting. Coming forward. Advance your chest. Bring your belly forward. Crawl out. Sit bones stay down on something. And this one sneaks up on you. So be patient and breathe. Chin is tucked, back is round, using your hands to help control your descent. Breathing. And then come on up. Let's take this left foot, set it back down on the ground. Get your blocks. And then transition. You're going to put this left knee down so that you can stretch that right leg straight back behind you. What a relief. Hands come to the floor. Press hard through that back heel. If you need padding, you can tuck it underneath the left knee. You can also untuck the left toes if they're cramping on you. Breathe. Front ribs and belly pull up into your body. Turning this into a tiger pose, you can lift that right leg up. Opposite diagonal, left arm extends. Thumbs up, point the fingers. After tiger, we did some bird dog. So from here, drive elbow and knee together. On the exhale, and inhale, extend. And exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Couple more of these. And then finally, drive that right knee forward. Grab it if you need to. Put that right foot up out in front of you. Switching sides. You got that right leg out in front. Couple of blocks handy. Back toes curl under. You'll lift that back knee up off the floor. Nice long lunge. Do make sure both feet are on the same surface. You want to stay in control of this. You can have feet on opposite diagonal corners of the mat, but do have them both on the same mat. Pushing hard through that back heel. Hands on blocks underneath your shoulders. Shifting forward, shifting backward, shifting forward, shifting backward. Working that ankle, working your toes on that back foot. Shifting forward, shifting backward. Pull that belly up into your body. Press down into the blocks. Take one giant step forward and then one giant step backward, switching sides. Same thing. Second side. Nice long runner's lunge. Maybe wiggling that front foot a little bit wider for better balance. Shifting forward, shifting backward. Working that back foot, back ankle, back toes. So I'm rolling through the ball of the foot. Pressing back into the heel, feeling the calf muscle stretch, rolling forward, rolling backward. Hands on blocks, pulling that front ribs, pulling your belly around your back. Take a giant step forward. Find yourself in a forward fold. One foot on either side of the mat. Feet about as wide apart as your mat. Use your blocks to control your fold. Knees are unlocked. Toes can point out to the sides. You might wrap your fingers around your elbows if your lower back cooperates. If your lower back is tender, definitely leave hands on blocks to help carry some of that load. Otherwise, fingers wrap around elbows, head hangs towards the floor, and you can shift from side to side, letting your hips roll across tops of your thigh bones. So get acquainted with your thigh bones, get acquainted with your sit bones near lower back. And come to neutral. Let's transition this to a downward facing dog. So do make sure both hands, both feet are on the same sticky mat. As you step back into a downward facing dog, let your feet be as wide as that sticky mat and take your dog for a walk. Bend one knee, then the other. Let your hips jog side to side. Happy dog going for a walk. Rising up onto tippy toes, pressing back through your heels. Rising up on tippy toes, pressing back through your heels. So now you're working both feet at the same time, just like we did a few moments ago. Rising up to tippy toes, pressing back through both heels. Knees can definitely be bent for this as you shift forward and shift back. Working those ankles. And then rise, tippy toes, pulling your front ribs, pulling your belly. You get to set your knees down. All 10 toes curled under. Make sure those pinky toes are curled under as well. Blocks are handy. As you sit back over your heels, shoulders shrug down away from your ears. And breathe. High goddess pose. Stretching your feet. If it works for you, pressing into those blocks, peeling those knees up, balancing, hips on heels as you thrust your lap forward. Push your knees forward, belly back, balancing. And then using your blocks, your challenge is to come on up. Easy peasy, right? Right foot forward. Giant step forward with that right foot. Hands on blocks. Left foot back, nice long stride between the feet. And now you're going to peel that front heel up. Blocks underneath your shoulders. I move the block out of the way so you can see that foot there. Peeling back, toes. So you're on the front heel. And guess what you're going to do to that front heel? You're going to push it down. You're going to drag it backwards. It's not going to go anywhere. You're going to do your best to breathe. Push that front heel down hard. Pull back hard on that front heel. And breathe. Hands on blocks. Let the front knee bend. What a relief for the foot, right? Roll. Maybe pick up the heel. And then put the heel down. Pick up the toes. Pull the front leg straight. Same thing. Push the heel down, pull it back. Hard. Hands on blocks for balance. Let the front knee bend. Spread the toes out as you set them down. Roll into the ball of the foot. Peel the heel up. Put on your stiletto. And heel down. Last time. Peel back. Push the heel down. Pull the heel back hard. Really going to intensify that hamstring stretch for you. And now you can step forward, step back, or pivot all the way around to switch sides. Give yourself some width, side to side width. You got your left leg forward now. Rocking back on that front heel, peeling the toes up, taking it to the next level. Pushing that front heel down, pulling the front heel backward. It goes nowhere, but work it. And breathe. Flare the toes as you set your toes down. Peel the heel up, putting on your stiletto. A little bit of a balance challenge there. How strong are your ankles? How strong are your feet? Definitely using those blocks for balance. Front heel down, toes up. Push that front heel down, drag the front heel backward, letting your chest advance forward even more. And again, flare those toes, heel up, put on that stiletto as best you can. Really stretching out those feet this morning. Heel down, toes up. This is the last time for this side. Dragging that front heel backward, stamping that front heel down hard, getting a good strong hamstring stretch. So this is your left leg out in front. Now bring your hands down to the ground. Take that left leg back behind you and lift it high to the sky. So bad dog at the hydrant. Lift that left leg high to the sky. Let that front knee bend, top knee bend. Pull in your tummy. Imagine doing this on camera. Make it look good. Pull that tummy in nice and tight for your bad dog at the hydrant. And you can roll out that ankle. And roll it the other way. And set that one down. Let's do the other side. Lifting that right leg high to the sky. Bad dog at the hydrant, pulling in your tummy. So pulling in your tummy helps take some of the sway out of your lower back. Think about the wrinkles on the back of your shirt. Try making the back of your shirt smooth. No wrinkles in that lower back area. Rolling that ankle around. And if that hasn't confused you enough, roll the ankle around the other way. Keep that belly pulled in. And then set that down. Walking your feet towards your hands, finding your blocks. And a kappa squat. So feet go as wide apart as the mat. Blocks help you to come on down into your squat. You might need those blocks to go underneath your sit bones. Take some of the load off. Shoulders down. Elbows on the inside of your knees, pushing your knees wide. So I bring my hands together and I drive those knees wide using my elbows. And then my knees squeeze against my elbows. And the ankles don't hurt so much. Can you wiggle your toes? Toes turned out to the sides. You can do it without blocks. By all means, do it without blocks. How low can you go? And do keep breathing. Shoulders down, chest lifted, nice, long, elegant neck. And now you get to simply stand up, coming on up. And for this one, I do recommend facing the screen. I know me turning sideways could be a little confusing. Hopefully, everybody looking at the screen makes it easier. You're going to stand on that left foot, shrug your shoulders back, pulling your front ribs, pulling your belly, and bring that right knee up into your chest. So I'm mirror imaging you. This is your right knee. Get a good grip on it. Maybe interlace your fingers around that shin or use a belt to help you lasso it. Shoulders are down. Foot is flexed. Thrust your hips forward. Pull your belly backward. Hug that knee in tight, close to your chest. Start to lean backward. That's what it looks like from the front. And breathe. Standing knee is unlocked. So my foot is flexed flat so that as I hinge forward, still that knee hugging tight close to my chest. Foot is flexed flat. As I hinge forward, My foot is now flat towards the wall behind me, the imaginary wall behind me. And you can begin to extend that right leg back behind you. Stretch your arms out like airplane wings for balance. Airplane balancing pose. Woo. Slow movement so you don't fall over. And then returning to where you started, still on this right side. Bring that right knee back into your chest, still flex flat. Shoulders down, chest lifted. Thrusting your hips forward as you lean backwards. Foot nice, flexed flat. And let's set that foot down. You can stand on that right foot. That's your left foot. That's your right foot. Stand on your right foot, roll the left ankle around. And roll it the other way. So while you stand on this right knee, you're going to bring that left knee back up into your chest, foot flexed flat, thrusting your hips forward. So we're on the second side here. Foot stays flexed flat, belly pulled in nice and tight. Tail tucked down between your legs. Belly stays pulled in tight. Tail stays kind of tucked between your legs. Foot stays flexed flat, even as you hinge forward. Begin to push that foot flat against the wall behind you. Arms stretch out like airplane wings. So pulling in those front ribs, keeping your tail tucked somewhat, will help you maintain that flat back. No wrinkles on the back of your shirt. Balancing. Breathing into that back body. Start to continue to resume or come back to where you started, bringing that left knee into your chest a second time. Hips thrusting forward, foot still flexed flat, balancing. And then setting this right foot down and standing on it and rolling out that left ankle. Or whatever I just said was all wrong. I'm going to go sideways. You still face the screen. Roll the ankle the other way. So if I've got my right and left straightened out, you are standing on your left foot and you are hugging this right knee into your chest. Foot flex flat, hips thrusting forward, pulling that tummy in. Balancing and breathing. Think about the shape of your lower back now. Long lower back, tail tucking down between your legs. Foot flex flat, keeping your lower back long. Belly pulled in tight, hinging forward. Belly pulled in tight, front ribs tucked, long lower back. Foot flexed flat, extending out. Always better the second time around here. Front ribs and belly are pulled in. No wrinkles on the back of your shirt. Balancing. Bringing that knee back in. Give it another good strong hug. Leaning back, perhaps. Hips thrusting forward. And then you set that foot down. Standing on that right foot now. Rolling out the left ankle. And rolling the ankle around the other way. All that ankle stretching, strengthening is for this fun standing stuff. Hug that knee to your chest, foot flexed flat. Hips thrusting forward. It's a little bit better each and every time we do it. Feel the shape of your lower back, belly pulled in, tail tucked, foot flexed flat, hinging forward, extending out for that airplane pose. No wrinkles across that back waistband area. Broad and flat. Breathing into those back ribs. Help keep you light. Fly that airplane with deep breaths. And once again, hugging that knee into your chest. Foot flexed flat for the whole time. Front ribs, belly pull in, tail tucks, leaning back any amount at all. Long lower back for this one. And set that foot down. Rolling out, shaking out both ankles. We're going to come down into another squat, just briefly. So feet go wide, toes turned out. Really getting those ankles a workout today. Coming on down. Again, don't be shy about using your toys. You want to be able to walk after class. Shoulders down away from your ears, elbows go wide, knees squeeze in nice and tight as you breathe. We've done a fair amount to stretch out the back of the legs, work those ankles, feet. I got plans for you. All right. So I recommend sitting toward the back edge of your mat, putting your two blocks side by side into what I call butt cheek configuration. So one block for each butt cheek. Sitting toward the back edge of your mat, take your legs out. Waggle. Make sure my feet are on camera. There we go. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Lifting your chest up. Breathing. Now, whatever angle you just threw your legs out at, that's a great angle for you. Lift and separate. Pull those flush away from those sit bones. Let those sit bones be perched on the very edges of your blocks. Feet stay flexed flat. Shoulders are up, back, and down. You press your fingertips into the floor. Sit up nice and tall. And breathe. Now, what happens if you push your heels down and activate like you're pulling your heels towards you? You're shortening your legs. You're pulling your thigh bones into your pelvis. Now, as you pull those thigh bones into your pelvis, can you make sure those sit bones are still sticking out behind you? Begin to hinge forward. So shorten the legs. Drag your thigh bones into your pelvis as you hinge forward. Legs go no wider than they are now. Right, legs go no wider than they are now. At some point, you'll want to bring your hands forward. Go ahead and go with that. Activate. Like you're squeezing your legs closed in narrow a little bit as you continue to hinge forward. Your belly will begin to pry your thighs apart. Don't let your legs go any wider than they are than they were when you started. So shortening your legs and narrowing the legs, although they go nowhere. You're on a sticky mat as you come forward. And breathe. Eventually, you might bring your elbows down. Maybe you bring your belly down. Maybe you bring your chest down. And then come on up, walking your hands back. Take your right knee, bring that right heel in, let the toes point. Turn the foot, so roll the heel away from you. Put the top of your foot down on the ground, really scuff up your pedicure. You might even roll the meat around the bones to help that knee bend deeper. So I'm moving the meat. twisting it around the bones so I can get that heel in closer, top of the foot down on the ground a little bit more. This left leg, foot is still flexed. Leg is still short, still sitting on the front edge of my sit bones. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Inhale, bring both arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to tip out over the straight leg, coming over into a side stretch. If you have a heavy head, you can hold on to your head. Otherwise, let your head hang. Bottom shoulder shrugs away from your ear. Bottom hand is on the ground, so you can push that bottom hand into the floor and let those right side ribs flare. With an inhale, come all the way on up. Now turn towards the bent knee. Turn your belly, turn everything. Turn your belly, turn everything towards the bent knee. And then come out over that bent leg. And then come on up. Still working the same side. You're going to take this right foot now and flex it. You're going to come onto the pinky toe edge of the foot. Bring this left leg in, narrow, making everything more compact. Foot against thigh, thigh against foot. Heel in. So this foot is flexed on the pinky toe edge of the foot. I'm still sitting on my blocks here. It does help. The more stuff you're sitting on, the more likely you are to be able to sit up and have a long, flat belly. Hips higher than your knees, ideally. So hip bones higher than knee bones. Shoulders are up, back, and down. So make sure you're sitting on enough stuff. Sitting up nice and tall, foot flex flat on this front leg, coming out over the straight leg. This is Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. It's not about putting your head on your knee. It's about putting your mind, being mindful of your knee as you bow forward. So if that straight leg knee is talking to you, if it's bothering you, if it's hyperextending, doing something that does not agree with you, you can tuck your pillow. There's some padding underneath the knee to support it. Coming out over that leg. And then come all the way on up. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So take a moment, shuffle, shake out those legs, and we'll switch to the other side. From here, legs go out, whatever angle they like. Feet flex flat, sitting on the front edge of your sit bones. Pulling your legs in, keeping them short, not letting them go any wider than they are now. Hinging forward. Again, if you were to do this with the sound off, it just looks like I'm folding in half. But I encourage you to keep working, keep listening, keep dragging your legs into your pelvis, shortening your legs, and engage like you're squeezing your legs closed, even as you bow forward here. Let those sit bones widen, breathing into your back body. And then come on it. And bend that left knee. Bring that foot in. Toes are pointed. Rolling the meat around the bones. Bring it in nice and compact. Right foot stays flexed flat. Shoulders up, back, and down. Bringing both arms up and overhead. And then coming over into a side stretch, coming out over the straight leg. Again, you can support your head if you have a heavy head. And then come all the way on up. Going to turn towards the bent knee, belly, ribs, chest, everything, and bow out over it. This gives you a hamstring stretch here. Coming on up. We're going to go for Janu Shirsasana. So take this left foot, flex it nice and flat. You're on the pinky toe knife edge of that left foot. Right leg comes in narrow, nice and compact here. Still sitting on the front edge of your sit bones. Foot against leg, leg against foot. Sitting up tall. Ideally, you're sitting on enough stuff that your hip bones are higher than your knee bones. Make sure you're elevated. And come forward. Front foot stays flexed flat. Intensify the pose by breathing. Intensify the pose by pushing that front heel down, dragging it back. And then come on up. All right, grand finale, both legs out in front. I am burning up here in the sun. I'm going to get a little closer to the screen. I'm going to turn sideways. Still sitting towards the back edge of your mat, still sitting on your blocks. Legs out in front, feet flexed flat. Sitting up nice and tall. And hinging forward. Again, same modification. If your knees are hyperextending or bothering you, you put something underneath them, support. Coming full circle as you come into this Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Breathe into that back body. Breathe into your back ribs. Hands on the floor beneath your shoulders. You're going to sit on up. Now we're going to activate it. Push those heels down, drag your legs backwards. Sit on the very front edge of your sit bones, on the very front edge of your blocks. Keep working those legs. Keep pushing your heels down, dragging your heels backwards as you sit up nice and tall. Push those heels down, drag those heels backward, begin to hinge forward. You're not going to go very far at all. You're going to really work those legs. Pulling those heels back hard. Widen your sit bones. Stick out your butt. It doesn't look like much you're sitting on it. It's not going to go anywhere. Drag those heels back. Stick out your butt. Breathe. You need to give it a little wiggle. Do make sure pull all the skin off those bones. You're at the very, very front edge of those sit bones, still pushing those heels down, still dragging your heels backward, advancing your chest any amount at all. You're not going to go very far. And then come on up. You're going to scooch forward and lie down. You're going to feel parts of your back touching the floor, parts of your butt touching the floor that don't usually touch. So come on down, lie down. You might use a pillow underneath your head. And bring one knee at a time, both knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Really spread that lower back out on the floor. Setting one foot down, sitting both feet down. Let your knees be as wide apart and your feet as wide apart as your yoga mat. Let those knees tick tock side to side like windshield wipers. Gentle twist. And then working up into yogi's twist, yogi's choice of twist. Knees come in, bring one knee in, whatever you want to do, whatever variation of a supine or lying down twist you want to go for this morning. And then taking that twist on the other side. And then eventually coming to center, stretching out for your favorite variation of Shavasana, whatever that may be for you. If you do choose to fully spread out nice and flat, you might be pleasantly surprised to feel the back of your legs and your lower back both approaching the floor. And again, finishing the way we began, nice deep breaths. Breathing into your back body.